Here I've symbolized these different people at different times by different colored dots. Now, when any particular teacher died, his message was forced to spread by word of mouth or be written down on parchments, with the result that as his ideas began to spread around the world, they inevitably became distorted and absorbed by the culture of the time, with the result that very little now remains of the original wisdom. But today we are in very different circumstances. Firstly, hundreds upon thousands of people are beginning to discover the hidden potentials of the human soul. And secondly, books, tapes, television, computer networks, in short, the whole information revolution, has given us the means to share these discoveries with each other without the information suffering the distortion and misunderstanding that was inevitable in the past. So now, as the wisdom begins to spread out across the planet, there is instead a positive feedback. The wisdom reinforces itself. Rather than dissolving, the wisdom builds upon itself. Such an inner awakening could be the crucial ingredient in the linking of humanity into an integrated society. A society in which we are linked spiritually through an awareness of our inner unity, an awareness that we are all part of something greater. And at the same time, gaining a greater awareness of our individual potentials and uniqueness. A synthesis of greater individuality along with greater community. Such an inner development, if widespread, could be very valuable in helping humanity deal with the problems now facing it. We are clearly in a time of crisis. But most of us think of crisis as bad. But maybe we have something to learn from the Chinese on this. Their word for crisis, Wei Qi, means two things. The first symbol means danger, beware. But the other two symbols mean opportunity, an opportunity for something new to emerge. If we only see crisis as danger, as a threat to our accustomed ways, then we may spend all our energy resisting it. We need also to look at the opportunities inherent in the crisis. From an evolutionary perspective, crises are a sign that something has gone wrong. The patterns of the past are no longer working. Crises are thus a challenge, the challenge to adapt. They are the challenge to let go of the old ways of thinking and move on to a new way of seeing. Thus, humanity's current crisis may not, at its root, be an economic crisis or an environmental crisis. It may well be a crisis of consciousness, a crisis in how we see ourselves and the world around. Many of us have probably experienced at one time or another those moments when we feel at one with the world, a sense of inner peace, with no need to prove who we are. The question is, can we allow these precious moments to happen more often in our lives and in the lives of other people? In short, can we choose to explore and develop our greatest resource of all, our own minds, our inner selves? I'd like to finish with a poem from Christopher Fry's play, Asleep of Prisoners. The human heart can go the length of God. Dark and cold we may be, but this is no winter now. The frozen misery of centuries cracks, breaks, begins to move. The thunder is the thunder of the flows, the thaw, the flood, the upstart spring. Thank God our time is now. when wrong comes up to meet us everywhere, never to leave us till we take the greatest stride of soul man ever took. Affairs are now soul-size. The enterprise is exploration into God. But where are you making for? It takes so many thousand years to wake. But will you wake? For pity's sake.